This is a quick demo of GBTimelapse AutoRamp feature. I'm going to load the same project I ran last night. It's for a Canon 5D Mark II. The project was loaded and the camera was connected. Here's the initial settings. Manual exposure 1/13 of a second, f/22, ISO 100. That's a good exposure for late afternoon here at this location. Here's a test shot just looking out over the nearby green belt with a clear blue sky. The luminance in this image is 115. This camera is a 5D Mark II. You can control the AE mode without manually turning the dial. The minimum bulb time for this camera is 1/10 of a second. The auto ramping is turned on. I'm going to try and maintain a luminance of 128. Right, this last image it was 115. So the auto ramp will control the exposure by adjusting the TV, ISO, and AV. I'm going to adjust the AV between f2.8 and f22, the ISO between 1600 and 100, and when the TV value gets up to 16 seconds, that's when I'll use reciprocity to change either the ISO or the AV. And in this case, I'm going to let the TV range up to 30 seconds. So I'll just go ahead and begin the project. Set in the project settings. This program is set to begin at a relative time 1 hour and 20 minutes before sunset. I'll just make that 1 hour and even. And it will stop at a relative time 1 hour after sunrise. I'll save those settings. So here it's set at this location 1 hour before sunset is 6:31 p.m. So we'll come back and check in a little while and see how it's done. It's been running for 2 hours now. Here's the latest image. You can see that the stars have come out. But look at the history and play it back. You can see as it goes from daylight to darkness. I can look at the history graph and it shows the luminance, TV, AV, and ISO versus time. The red line shows the current image. Starts out here at a bulb of 0.142 seconds, f/22, ISO 100. As time goes by, the shutter speed gradually increases till it hits the maximum value, and then starts increasing the aperture. When the aperture is increased as far as it'll go, starts increasing the ISO. See, the luminance is fairly smooth. There's one glitch here. You can see what that was. There's an image capture error. This is beta software, so I'm trying to get those errors out of here. And then maintains a steady luminance value for the duration. This program will run until tomorrow morning at 7:39 a.m. Okay, it's the next morning and this thing's been running all night. You can see that it's still using bulb mode. Right now it's about 1/10 of a second. Here's the latest image. If I go to the history, I can preview the last set of frames. Here's from earlier this morning before sunrise up to sunrise. But look at the history graph. You can see how it was running steady at 30-second bulb time. Then you see the luminance started getting brighter as the sun started coming up before dawn. At this point, started decreasing the bulb time. Decreased it down to 0.161 seconds here, and then started decreasing the ISO. Once the ISO decreased to its minimum value, it started increasing the aperture. So that's basically how it's done, how it's working. So that's the basic process. Keep in mind this is a beta version, so I'm refining the algorithm and trying to make it smoother and reduce flicker, but I'd appreciate your feedback. Here I've loaded that clip into Adobe After Effects and applied the GBT flicker filter to it, and you can see there's quite a bit of variation in the luminance at the beginning and at the end. This is during the periods of bright sun. GBT flicker did a really good job of reducing the flicker in this sequence. I'll play the clip now without the flicker removed, and then again with the flicker removed so you can see what it did.